18 WJTS Sports presents Jasper Wildcat Football. This game is brought to you by Carpet Warehouse, Maringer Plumbing and Heating, DuBois County Tire and Supply, Ubelor and Sons, McDonald's, Oakland City University, Westside Dairy Queen. Now let's head down to the field.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to Jasper High School football coverage here on 18 WJTS Jasper. I'm Kerry Schneider along with Bob Welp, and tonight the Wildcats on the road for the first time this year as they will travel to Evansville for the first, of course, many trips here down to the Pocket City to take on the Reitz Panthers here at Herman Byers Field at the Reitz Bowl in Evansville's west side. Bob, the Wildcats, of course, coming into this contest with a 1-1 record as they coming off on the heels of a rather disappointing loss last week in Harrison, which I guess big story about last week's games was putting the ball on the ground and turning it over.
Yeah, I was kind of interested to listen to Coach Lewis's interview. In fact, I caught the one with our own Kirk Gooksell, and he was upset about the turnovers, but he was more upset about the physical play of Jasper. He thought that Harrison brought the wood to Jasper, and we did not respond. I find it a peculiar statement. There's nobody that knows his team better than Coach Lewis does, of course. But we had Grant Young out, which put Holsworth up at the quarterback spot. We didn't throw the ball. We did it very seldomly, which allowed Harrison to bring 11 players up within 7 yards of the ball. Well, if you've got 5 guys, possibly 6 blocking, and they're sending 9, I mean, I'm not a Schneider, but I can figure out the advantages in their corner.
What difference that makes, I don't know. But I tell you what, another thing is, unfortunately, the Wildcats, they just, first of all, we're dealing with some key injuries with the loss of multi-talented Braylon Bear as a slot, and, of course, kick returner, defensive force, and number 13 for the Wildcats, Caden Ernie. They look to be out at least indefinitely.
Yeah, Bear and Ernie, that was one of the big issues with Jasper putting the ball on the turf. When you run the triple option that Jasper runs, it's all about timing. And if someone would pull up on YouTube and they would compare the Memorial game where Young was quarterback and Holsworth was quarterback in the Harrison, when Young threw the ball was coming off his hip. We were almost throwing the ball directly behind the quarterback with Holsworth. Now, that could have been offset if our slot receivers who received the pitch, if they weren't out. So not only did you have Holsworth with him working so hard trying to get his timing, you get late into the first quarter, you lose our slot backs. Now you got to adjust your timing to the speed of the other slot backs. So it was a really double-edged sword. And what Harrison did was they just said to Jasper, look, if you want to beat us, you're going to have to put the ball in the air.
Well, we're on the road now, as we said, for the first time this year here at legendary Reitz Bowl on the city's west side of Evansville. The Panthers come in with a 2-0 record with a victory over, they defeated Harrison actually in week 1, 39-8. And then it was a late score that helped them take over the Vincennes Lincoln Alice's 31-28 at Inman Field up at Vincennes last week. Talk about a little bit about the Panthers.
Reitz, they bring it. Their specialty players are probably, this is my personal opinion, the course of the years will show the numbers and give people a little bit clearer picture. But their specialty players are probably the best in Southern Indiana. These guys can bring it. Their quarterback, when he comes out of the pocket and he releases the ball, his timing is perfect. Reitz usually runs they'll run 2 receivers far side to 2 receivers near side. They'll take the 2 receivers. One will go about 4 yards and start to flag out. The other one will go about 10 yards. Well, from this near side, they'll bring the one up and he'll do a deep flag. So Jasper's got a trail. When he cuts across the field, we got to send somebody with him. His timing at each level of those flags was just picture perfect. Not to mention, if you bite too hard on that, their running back, who is fast as lightning, will plant his foot and he'll be gone.
Another big question going into this game, of course, going back to, obviously a disappointing loss last week against Harrison. Now you're down here at a very almost intimidating place as Reitz Bowl can be. How did the Wildcats respond?
You got to reach down, Carrie. You got to find something that you didn't think was there. Adversity will hit every team at some point. Hopefully you're not losing a player for the year, but you're almost guaranteed to have 2 or 3 players out for 2 or 3 games in the course of the season. Jasper's just got to reach down, control the ball, and just bring it. Bring it with an attitude. See if Coach Lewis is talking to the team to bring more physical play. We'll find out shortly if they've listened to their coach.
Kiefer Sanderson will kick off from the 40-yard line, and 2 men back deep for Jasper, one of which is Carter Holsworth. I didn't quite get the second receiver, but it looks like it is going to be Holsworth who will bring it up forward to the 20, 25, and to the 30. Gets some room on this side, then cuts back in and takes it to, it looks like it'll be 39-yard line, where the Wildcats will start their drive, 1st and 10.
Well, he made a cut to this side, and he had the lane. Then the 2 guys from this side from Reitz curled it back, so he had to do a cutback and then did what you're supposed to do when things start to close up. Go north and south, pick up an extra 1 or 2. Did a really nice job on that.
One of the players the Wildcats were missing last week was quarterback Grant Young, who is back in the running the controls for Coach Tony Lewis's ball club tonight. And that'll probably put Holsworth at a fullback spot. I'm going to be honest, we have a hard time picking up some numbers. It looks like that was Holsworth on the first man through, and he's going to get met right at the line of scrimmage.
You can already tell by that first play that Reitz is going to take a page out of the defensive plan of Harrison. They're just going to bring everybody up and try to beat you with sheer numbers.
No gain on the play, 2nd down and 10 at the 39. Again, I'm going to do my best to try to pick up Jasper's numbers. Never was a fan, and even more so at this moment, a fan of the color scheme on these road uniforms. But I'll speak my piece now and forever hold it. The ball's down on the ground on a handoff, but it looks like Young was able to pick it up and actually pick up a yard.
When the running back, when Grant reads that and he puts the ball into the running back's belly to take it, the running back cannot clamp down until he puts a little bit more pressure on the ball. If it's just laying in there, he's got to keep his arms open. That time he kind of closed them a little bit. His elbow caught the ball, bounced down. Fortunately for Jasper, bounced right back up to Young.
3rd down and 9, so 3rd and long for the Cats here on their opening drive of the night. Pick up 9 to keep it from an initial 3 and out. Here is a keeper on the option by Young. Young will take it to, it looks like the 44-yard line, where he'll pick up 4, but it's going to be nowhere near 1st down. The Wildcats will be forced to punt.
A better positive play on 3rd down. Unfortunately, we had to go the whole length of the sticks in order to do it. But if Jasper can figure that out, if they can start to do 3-4 yards at a click, we keep the Reitz Panthers offense off the field.
Do I see Charlie Cabrick back to punt?
He has been the savior for Jasper, once against Memorial, once against Harrison with high snaps.
Yes, he has. So Cabrick will get this one off. 1 man back for Reitz. He will come forward and field it inside the 20 to the 25, and he will be pushed back inside the 25. And we have a penalty flag down on the field.
Well, there was a white jersey that kind of got stretched out a little bit. If he calls holding or blocking the back, because it was close to either.
So we'll wait to see what the penalty is all about. Right now, the football is spotted at the 25-yard line, but it may go further back, and it looks like it will as they are pointing towards the Panthers. The referee will block in the back against the Reitz Panthers, so that'll set it back. Looks like 10 yards from the 25, so they'll have to, Panthers will be pinned back just a little bit further, and they'll start their drive at the 15.
Jasper runs what they call a 3-3 stack on defense, which will have 3 defensive linemen, and the linebackers will line up right directly behind them.
You got Cabrick and Peter at the safeties, and Jalen Van Slyke is a defensive end. Tyler Atkins is a free safety, among others from the starting lineup for the Cats. Quarterback Ben Davies dumps a pass right out here to Roland Vera. Vera, ball is down. It looks like the Wildcats may have it.
That will be nice.
And they do. So on the first play from scrimmage in tonight's ball game for the Panthers, Roland Vera Jr. took a pass from quarterback Ben Davies, fumbled, got it up to the 24-yard line before coughing it up, and the Cats come up with it. So the Cats come up with a big turnover to start off, and they got excellent field position, needless to say, on their second drive of the night.
When you get gifts like that from Reitz, especially down here at the Bowl where they're always strong, when you get this type of opportunity this close to the end zone, you must punch it in.
So the Cats will start 1st and 10 from the Reitz 24. Here is a pitch out to number 30. That was Drew Bradley, was it? 34 actually on the run. I don't have a 34, I'm not sure.
I'm
oh,
thinking
Jonas, huh?
I think that's Dawkins, isn't it?
Was it Dawkins?
Who carried it?
Dawkins on the carry. Yeah, okay, was not on the roster. Okay.
Yeah, he was a late add due to the injuries, but people will know him from the family of Lance and Luke.
Of course. Okay, big succession of Dawkins players here on the Wildcat program. By the way, 2nd down and 5 on that 5-yard gain from the 19. The ball is carried down to about the 15.
See, that's the big difference.
So a gain of 4. Sorry, Bob.
No, with Holsworth, being that he was the quarterback last week, when we were going against Memorial, he does such a nice job when he was in his natural position of the running back, of when he's getting hit, of putting both arms and locking him down. And he's a strong young man. He gets both arms on there, it is not coming out.
3rd down and 1 from the 15. On the carry goes number 6 for the Wildcats. And that, of course, is Carter Holsworth. And he is going to be dropped back down to about the 15-yard line. So no gain, call it. Actually going to mark it as it's a 16. They're calling it 4th down and 2 at the 16.
When Jasper comes up and Young gets under, if you watch the guy that lines up right above the center, the linebacker is either going to come into his right side or his left side. Whichever side he's coming to, the lineman is sliding to the other side. You know, the quarterback sneak could be there.
4th down and 2 from the 16. On the carry is Young. Will he get forward? And he looks like he's close to a 1st down yardage, or maybe not. Actually, he's going to be shy. It looks as though he's at the 15. He needed to get to the 14.
Well, the judge on the far side took him down to about the 14 and a half, but the one on this side was at the 15.
And they will measure. So Young kept it on the carry.
Looks like they may be a little short from where they've got him marked, but boy, those two officials were really off from each other.
Well, this near linesman over here, he had him right at the 15. It looks like they got him just inside the 15, so we'll wait to see where the spot is. And he is short. So the Panthers hold the Wildcats on downs on a 4th down and 2 play, and they will take it over from the 16.
The yardage that he did get on that was really on his own, because it didn't look like things were going too smoothly in the backfield, and he kind of came around this side and he spun and he fought and he got it. Now, that's unfortunate that we gave it up on downs, but we still have them pinned deep in their territory.
So the Panthers once again will start deep in their own territory. This time, once again, from about the 15-yard line, like they did last drive, but which they turned the ball over on the very first play. Xavier Thomas moves over to the far side once again behind and shotgun is quarterback Ben Davies. Pitch goes to Thomas. He tries the near side. He is at the 20 and out of bounds inside the 25 to about the 27. So on the pitch to Xavier Thomas, moving on motion. He will take it to the 27 for a pickup of 12. It's going to be 1st and 10 at the 27.
Jasper's defensive backs got to react faster. When you come towards the ball, you have to go to a forward angle. You cannot be backpedaling. Do not give these guys a chance to get that motor running.
1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. Here is a handoff to number 34, and that is Jonas Burnett, and Burnett is into Jasper territory down the near sideline, and he'll be out of bounds, it looks like, at the 31.
Well, you know from the very beginning that Reitz, they unfortunately, well, they stopped us, but had that fumble at the beginning. But Jasper's handled Reitz of late, and you know these guys are hungry to get a victory against the black and gold.
So the Wildcats are the Panthers, I should say, in Wildcat territory at the 31-yard line, first down and 10. On the carry is number 1, Xavier Thomas. And Thomas will get it across right at the 30-yard line for a gain of 1. 52 on the tackle.
57.
57, that is force for the Wildcats.
Eckert,
Hunter Eckert.
And he saved a big play. If he doesn't make that, he's probably in the end zone.
Second down and 9 at the 30. Here's a pass on the near sideline. It's going to be incomplete. They're going to call it incomplete as it was intended for number 7, Hayden Summers.
Peter did a really nice job of reacting to that ball. And when he was coming up, he tried to find out where the Jasper player was going, kind of took his eye off the ball, didn't bring it in cleanly, but once he started to grab it, Peter made contact and down the ball went.
So that brings up third down and 9 now from the 30.
Legal procedure against Reitz, they're calling declined by Jasper.
So the penalty against the Panthers is going to be refused by the Cats. That'll bring up third down, as I said, third down and 9 at the 30. 6:43 to play here in the first quarter at the Reitz Bowl.
Reitz really likes to go with this wide receiver screen over here in this play.
They have 3 receivers on the near side, 1 on the far. Pass up the middle is caught by number 9. And that, of course, is Roland Vera Jr. And Jr. will take it inside the 5 to the 4. So that'll bring up first and goal for the Panthers.
They're making Jasper guess. Jasper's going to have to go one-on-one when they stack 3 to the near or far side. We have got to go one-on-one. We had one guy coming up trying to guard 2, and the other was trying to guard a space. You cannot play man and zone at the same time.
First and goal for the Panthers at the 4. Handoff to 35. Levi Oxley. Tackled on the play by number 65 for the Wildcats, Jake Weinzappel.
Jasper's got 4 players on defense on that particular play. When they came up to snap the ball, we're still looking around on where to line up. You've got to be on the money when it comes to Reitz.
Now second goal and 1 after a gain of 3. So the Panthers 1 yard away from pay dirt and trying to draw first blood in tonight's ball game. Handoff again to up the middle for a touchdown by number 35, Levi Oxley, for a 1 yard plunge into the end zone, and the Panthers lead it 6-0.
It's going to be extremely difficult to stop Oxley when you've got that short a distance to go. When you take into consideration he's coming in at 6 foot, 225. That's a young man that can dish out some punishment.
With those vital statistics, Bob, there's no question about it. He's going to be hard to bring down, especially in a short yard situation, as number 22, Keither Sanderson, will attempt the extra point. Ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So the Panthers draw first blood here at the Reitz Bowl in tonight's ball game, scoring on their second drive after coughing it up on the first play of their initial drive. They lead at 7-0 with 5:42 to play here in the first quarter of play. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. Back at the Reitz Bowl, where the Panthers of Reitz lead this ball game 7-0. Once again, Sanderson will kick off for the Panthers. And again, he was going to go to Holsworth on the far side. He will take it to the 20, 25, and the 30. Gets away, still on his feet to the 45 and out of bounds.
Absolutely wonderful return. A huge response to Reitz going down and scoring.
Wildcats would love to get obviously answer the score, needless to say, and with the good return, they will have excellent field position to start this next drive. Excellent vantage point, by the way, here from the Reitz Bowl. We want to thank Athletic Director Beth Hagan for getting us set up right at the 50-yard line.
I don't know that I've ever had these kind of seats.
I'll take them.
Absolutely.
First and 10 for Jasper at the the 45. On the carry for the Wildcats is Carter Holsworth. Tackled on the play by Troy Davis. That'll be a gain of about close to 5 on it.
Picture perfect. Exactly what you want to do. Move the ball down, get yourself in second, and I know it's 5 yards, but a short 5 yards. That opens up your playbook a little bit.
Second down and 5, right at the midfield stripe. Handoff goes to number 6, Carter Holsworth. And Holsworth will be close to the first down as the stop is made by number 40 for the Panthers, Cole Brantley.
Well, Reitz beat Jasper off the ball there. Holsworth got bumped right at the line of scrimmage, but was strong enough to be able to sidestep and keep his feet driving forward to move us all the way up to where we got 3rd and inches.
So here we are, 3rd down and short for the Cats. See how they take it up the middle, but under center, of course, is Grant Young, and he will hand it off to Holsworth. He will get plenty of yardage for the first down. In fact, he'll take it to the 40 for about a 6-yard gain.
If Jasper can continue to do this, we've seen Reitz turn the ball over on their first drive, so you know it can happen. Jasper keeps this up, eats up some clock, moves the ball down the field, and throws the timing off of the Reitz offense. That could be very positive for Jasper late in the game.
First and 10 for the Cats at the Panthers 40. Cats looking to answer the Reitz touchdown here in the first quarter. We're under 4 minutes to play. Young back to throw. He's got a man open, but is right through the fingertips of number 11, it looks like. Is that Tyler Atkins?
It is.
And Tyler Atkins, the intended receiver.
Atkins is he's gutting it out. He's not 100% right now. Now, when you talk about Atkins, his 85 to 90% is better than some people's 100%, but you could tell that timing was off just a bit.
We got a receiver on the near side for the Wildcats. Handoff goes to Holsworth. He will be met right at the line of scrimmage by number, looks like 26. And that is Alex Sitzman. So Sitzman with the open field tackle right at the line of scrimmage for virtually no gain. 3rd down and 10.
I'd say Jasper has to get 4 to 5 yards on here before Coach Lewis will consider to go for it.
Most cases, though, even right here at the 40, Bob, you would consider it 4 down territory, but we'll wait and see. It's 3rd down and 10 at the 40. I'll take a first down. Not have to worry about it. How about you?
Absolutely.
And the option is Young, and he will just barely get it back to the line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up now 4th down and 10.
Reitz has just beaten Jasper to death on the front line right now.
They are penetrating.
Absolutely. Young did a nice job. He bounced it to the outside. It was not there. He curled it back. That hole wasn't there. He tried to come back another deeper hole. That wasn't there. By that time, everything totally broke down, and they put him down way short of the first down.
Young did manage to pick up a yard, so 4th down and 9, and the Cats will go for it. Young rolls left, looks, getting pressure. He will have to eat the football, and they will bring him down at about the 41-yard line, and the Panthers will take over. Make it at the 42.
Well, if you watch Grant Young walk across the field, you can tell that he's not 100%. He's still kind of,
He is walking gingerly as he heads back to the Wildcats sideline on the far side.
So, and the ankle that he's got hurt, when he's rolling that way, Reitz did a nice job of staying with our receivers. Young did a nice job of not making the big mistake and eating the ball and hoping our defense can get a stop here.
So the Panthers will take over 1st and 10 at their own 42. 2:25 to play in the first quarter, 7-0 Reitz. On the carry is the quarterback. Number 14, Ben Davies on the run. He will take it out of bounds. Looks like at the 46. That'll be a pickup of 4. 2nd down is 6 at the 46.
we're not getting a whole lot of flow from the backside up here, but the guys that are flowing towards the ball, our angles have to be better.
So 2nd down and 6 for the Panthers. 2:20 to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Reitz. They have the football at their own 46. Here's a handoff. It goes to number 34, and that is Jonas Burnett. And Burnett will, looks like he'll barely get it to back to the line of scrimmage. Perhaps maybe pick up one. Actually, sorry, he will lose one. He does take it. He's down at the 45, so that'll bring up 3rd down and 7 at the 45.
Well, I'm with you as far as the numbers goes, but it looked like 63 out there. But nonetheless, our defensive tackle on the far side got great penetration to where he could not cut back.
So Davies back to throw. He's got number 7, Hayden Summers. Summers has 1st down yardage into Jasper territory at the 39.
That's what Reitz is well known for. Getting their quarterback, he catches the ball. They have him out of the gun. He takes 1 step back and releases the ball. He's throwing the ball not deep, but he's throwing the ball at least 25 yards. That gives the receiver time to get around and catch it and move the chains.
16-yard pickup, 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Pass is complete over the far sideline to Roland Vera, and a flag does go down. Vera is still on his feet to the 25-yard line, inside to the 24, but there is a penalty marker back at the 40.
We did a nice job of flowing out there. We had that play dead to right until Reitz grabbed us and held us back, and then he made a nice cutback. But even though the play's coming back, when we hit the ball, we must wrap. We must let them know that we're there. Right now, we're arm tackling, which will not work.
Well, big holding penalty against the Panthers as the flag is down at the 40-yard line, so they'll mark it most likely, 10 yards from the spot. We'll see where they put it down, and they will put it down at the Jasper 48.
I thought it was a hold. The white hat out there gave the indication of pass interference, which kind of throws me off a little bit, but it is what it is.
Well, that brings up 1st down and 19 now from the 48-yard line.
Which is nothing if Jasper doesn't start making tackles right off the bat.
Exactly. Here is a catch on the near sideline by number 1, Xavier Thomas, and he is ridden out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
Victor Peter came up and did a real nice job of when he caught the ball. He wanted to turn it upfield right away. Peter got underneath him, forced him out, and then Peter's friends came in from the backside to force him out of bounds.
And as a result, there was actually a 1-yard loss on the play, so that'll bring up 2nd down and 20 at the 49. So it's a great opportunity for the Wildcat defense to step it up here with the opportunities given to them right now. 2nd down and 20 at the 49 for the Panthers. Pass is complete on the far side to Hayden Summers, and Summers takes it on the far side to the 30, to the 31, 29, I should say. And it looks like he may have a 1st down. If he needed to actually get to the 29, he's going to be at the 30, so he will be short, it looks like.
Well, they'll probably bring in their big running back. But what I don't understand is why he planted his foot and tried to come back into the middle of the field. He had us beat. I mean, it was a one-on-one out there, and that's what they do. They get their good players in a one-on-one situation in open territory. If he'd have kept running down the sidelines, it'd have been over.
Coming in the backfield is number 34, Jonas Burnett, and handoff goes to Burnett, and he will get first close to the first. He should have it. He does. Actually, he actually got it to the 28-yard line, and that will be a 1st down for the Panthers.
Boy, he paid the price on that one, though.
He did take a pop. So 1st down for Reitz at the, looks like the 28-yard line. 1st and 10, 40 seconds to play. Panthers looking to hit the scoreboard once again perhaps by the end of the quarter, but there's 30 seconds now to go.
Our defensive backs are starting 10 yards off the ball. I'd really like to come up. I know they're fast on the outside, but that wide receiver screen, by the time we react, they're in open space, so you got to close that up a little bit.
Timeout is called on the field with 30 ticks left in the first quarter. It's Reitz 7, Jasper nothing here on 18 WJTS. Back at the Reitz Bowl, where the Wildcats trailed the Evansville Reitz Panthers 7-0 with 30 seconds to go after that timeout by the Panthers. And they will have 1st and 10 at the 28. The Wildcat defense looking for a little momentum builder, perhaps, Bob.
Well, there's that screen again, and we're playing so deep.
Pass is complete to number 7, Hayden Summers. Summers still on his feet, down to about the 16.
They're going to hit that all night long. We are so deep. I know they're fast, but you know, go to a 3-2 set, something like that. We have got either to get some help out there, or some guys got to take some chances, because this is not going to work for Jasper.
1st and 10 at the 16 for the Panthers. 10 seconds to go in the half, or quarter, excuse me. Handoff goes to number 3, Troy Davis. Davis looks like he'll lose a yard or two on that play, which will be the final play of the first quarter here at Reitz Bowl at Evansville. It's Reitz 7, Jasper nothing. Back for the second quarter after this here on 18 WJTS. Reitz Bowl here in Evansville. Kerry Schneider along with Bob Welp and Jeremy Markles, of course, on the camera this evening from Herman Byers Field, the hilltop at Reitz High School. Excellent vantage point, as we said, from the Reitz Bowl press box, as we are right on the 50.
You know, Kerry, they run the ball. They want to hit the play, but they run the ball just enough to let people know they will run the ball. But it is the pass that's their bread and butter. 2nd
down and 13 from the 19. Here's a pass incomplete intended for number 7, Hayden Summers. That'll bring up 3rd down and 13 from the 19.
That made the Reitz coach stand up on his toes, because he was throwing it in a lot of white shirts.
Regardless, it'll be Panthers have it's just 2 plays to make up 13 yards and a first down, or 19 yards and a touchdown.
Which they've showed on several different times tonight, that 13 yards is nothing but a snap of a finger to them. Look for them to try to get the receivers one-on-one in open spaces.
Davies sets his team out of the shotgun. He drops back. He'll throw a pass up the middle, almost intercepted by the Wildcats. Pass was intended by number 11, Branson Beal, for the Panthers. Broken up by number 11 for the Wildcats, Tyler Atkins. So near pick off, and perhaps maybe a pick 6. He had a lot of room in front of him, Bob.
Yeah, it's one of those that you, as a fan, kind of cross your fingers, because you and I have seen a lot of football at different levels. When you miss an opportunity like that, sometimes you get snake bit.
4th down and 13 at the 19 for Reitz. Pass up the middle. It is caught into the end zone for a touchdown. Number 1, Xavier Thomas, from 19 yards out, scores a touchdown on the pass by number 14, Ben Davies, and the Panthers are up 13-zip.
6'2", 185. You know, they've got the specialty players, but he came in. Reitz will do that. They will take the guys, and they will split them out and go to 3 different levels at 7 yards, 12 yards, and 18 yards. He hit the guy going up the seam because the defensive backs bit on the other guys.
Thomas caught that right on stride for that pass from Davies, and Sutherland's extra point is good. Reitz 14, Jasper zip here on 18 WJTS. Back after this. Kiefer Sanderson, who just kicked the 2nd extra point of the night for the Panthers on their 2nd score, will tee it off from the 40-yard line. And it will be fielded by Carter Holsworth from the 16. Holsworth brings it across the 35 to about the 37, maybe it looks like 37 or 38 actually.
Nice job by Brantley for Reitz, coming from the backside and coming up, because it looked like Holsworth had seen the hole and he was starting to make progress in that hole, but number 40 came up and did a nice job of closing it.
So the Wildcats on their next drive will start off from their own 38-yard line, 1st and 10.
We've got to put points up on the board. We got to punch it in. They get the ball at the start of the second half.
Young under center. Hands it off to Holsworth. Actually, Young keeps it. Looks like he was giving it off to Holsworth, but he kept it on the keeper, and he will take it to the 49, nearly close to the 50-yard line. Nonetheless, it's a first down.
Well, Reitz is taking number 3 Davis and number 9 Vera Jr. and keeping those back. That means, on the 11 players, that means 9 of them's coming shooting.
Pick
so
up.
You might want to think of a little dump across the middle.
Pick up of 12 on the play. 1st and 10 at midfield for the Wildcats. Cats need a score here, Bob.
Badly.
And there's but we don't need that, as it looks like we got a legal motion against the Wildcats. Somebody moved. Legal procedure is the call. That'll be a 5-yard penalty. Set them back to the 45, and instead of 1st and 10 from the 50, it'll bring up 1st and 15 from the 45.
Well, you would think this would force Coach Lewis's hand to kind of try to put the ball up. As Jasper is susceptible to the seam route, even though we had the incomplete pass midway through the first quarter on the seam route, it was there. So with 1st and 15 and happen to have points, it'd be interesting to see what we do.
Under 11 minutes to play here in the first half. Hands off to number 6 Holsworth. And on the tackle for the Panthers, number 9 Roland Vera Jr.
With the injuries to our slots, it seems that Coach Lewis is trying to get these guys, get their timing down a little bit. It appears to me that maybe he's taken his playbook and he's kind of squunched it down a little bit.
3-yard pickups, 2nd down and 12 now for the Wildcats from their own 48. Gabrick on the near side, splits wide right.
Good pitch.
Pitch goes out to the far sideline to number 34 for the Wildcats. And that is
terrible. They should have thrown that flag on that one.
I was just going to say, Dawkins, by the way, on the carry.
Well, Dawkins was out of bounds. The initial attack from Reitz, they hit him in bounds, and he just kind of went out. Then they had a defensive back come up and was actually on the gray on Jasper's sideline before he even made contact with Dawkins.
3rd down and 6 coming up for the Cats at the Reitz 46.
Doesn't look like Reitz is buying Jasper putting it in the air.
And they will pitch it again out this to Dawkins, and Dawkins is tripped up on a good open field tackle by number 3 for the Panthers, Troy Davis.
This is deja vu all over again. This is exactly what Harrison did. As soon as Young snaps the ball and takes a step towards either the left side or the right side, they're shooting. And then they're just, by sheer numbers, overtaking Jasper.
Well, the Wildcats are going to go for it on 4th down and 5 from their own, from the Reitz 45. A little rusty on my football calling already here on the outset. But nonetheless, it's 9:30 to go. So big 4th down play, Bob, coming up for the Cats.
You almost have to.
And a handoff goes to the man up the middle. That was Holsworth, I believe. And he will have 1st down yardage. So big run by the Wildcats for a gain of about 7.
Now let the big guys know up front, we just seen that. They were able to fire off that ball and push Reitz back. Continue that throughout the second quarter.
It looks like the scoreboard says 38, but it looks more like on the 37-yard line. So 1st and 10 from the 37 for the Jasper Wildcats. Cats looking to answer Wright's first 2 scores of this game and get back in the contest. Handoff actually on the keeper is Young. Young keeps it. He will scramble his way out to the 30, but the ball is loose, but they're going to rule him down.
Thank the Lord.
Yeah, we couldn't really tell too far from high up as we are, but that ball was stripped.
And Young's getting up slow.
And Young is slow to get up, as you said. But he is on his feet nonetheless. And he is walking gingerly towards the Jasper sideline.
Boy, that's you really didn't want to see that. Now if we bring Holsworth into quarterback, especially going off last week's game, you got to think Reitz is just going to stack the box.
So, and now for the Wildcats at the quarterback spot is going to be Carter Holsworth, 6-foot junior. He quarterback for the Cats in last week's game against Harrison and in place of Young, who was injured. Looks like Young has aggravated that injury. And a handoff. Actually, on the carry, was that Holsworth keeping it? 6 on the run. Holsworth on the carry. And he has a first down yardage
I would
to about the 31, or excuse me, the 26, my bad.
I'd have really liked to see him keep that in Perkins' belly right there because Perkins got through the line so fast. But you know what? We got the first down. We moved the chains. Doesn't really matter. We got to punch it in.
First and 10 from the 26. Ball is down, but Holsworth is able to pick it up, and he's still on his feet, and he carries it down to the 20-yard line, so nice recovery by Holsworth.
With all the fumbles we had last week, they were the type of fumbles that there's no way Jasper was gonna be able to pick them up because they hit the ground on the edge and they rolled away. The two fumbles that Jasper had that we did not lose tonight, the ball stayed dead. They're Holsworth and Young on the other one.
Give Holsworth all the credit, Bob, for recovering on that. And he took what should have been at least a 2 or 3 yard loss and turned it into a 6-yard gain. Second down and 4 from the 20. And Holsworth keeping it again. And he will pick, well, they're going to maybe forward progress, give him a yard or two. Making a stop for the Panthers is number 40, Cole Brantley.
That was, Kerry, that was one of the more impressive 1-yard runs I've seen. He had 3 blue shirts hanging on him.
Make that third down and 2 at the 18.
Just positive yards. That's what we got to do, positive yards.
Cats got a big play coming up here at the 18-yard line. And Holsworth keeps it, and it looks like that was a little confusion on that play.
Oh,
I don't know what to
absolutely.
say.
Running backs went left, he went right.
It's a big-time miscommunication for the Cats on that.
Well, no positive yards on that one.
Well, actually, might be a loss of 1 perhaps, but nonetheless, scoreboard says 4th down and 2. And they're going to keep it at the 18, still no gain.
See, these are little things where Young's got the experience, go up there, and Reitz has been really happy about jumping. You know, change your cadence a little bit, but with Holsworth not having that experience, it's a little tough to do.
Wildcats are going to call timeout with 5.5 minutes, 5:36 actually to play here in the second quarter of play. It's Reitz 14, Jasper 0. Back after this here on 18 WJTS. The Wildcats are facing a 4th down and 2 at the 18-yard line, Bob, with 5:36 to play.
Well, Kerry, to say that this 4th down is extremely important would probably be the understatement of the year.
Cats need to get a score. They'd love to get a score before the half. And here's Holsworth going to keep it. He will roll, looks downfield, still on his feet. He may have the first down yardage, and he does.
That is awesome.
Great play by number 6, Carter Holsworth.
I would like to give credit somewhere else, but all the credit's got to fall on that young man's shoulders. 3 Reitz players he made miss.
And he picked up 6 yards on the play, Bob, to get themselves down to the 12-yard line, 1st and 10.
That play right there, if Jasper scores and holds Reitz, that play right there deep in the game could be the one we talk about.
So the Wildcats with a big momentum builder here, if they can get this score here. They're 12 yards out, 1st and 10. Holsworth under center with, again, Charlie Cabrick on the near side, but the handoff goes to number 10.
Perkins.
Perkins on the carry. Jace Perkins on the carry. Tackled on the play by Jakari Pfeiffer.
Perkins has got 212 pounds underneath that helmet. He has got some strength. It may not be a bad idea to keep riding that horse right there.
You're right. Big husky 5'8", 212-pound senior. 2nd down and 2 at the 4. 10 again on the ground. That's Perkins into the end zone for a touchdown from 4 yards out.
Jasper's big success has been running over that left side. Our offensive line has been doing some controlling. Now we got to get this extra point in, which I believe Cabrick's going to come in and do, and then we got to get a stop.
So Jace Perkins scores from 4 yards out with 4:21 to play here in the first half. And well, And on the attempt for the extra point will be Charlie Cabrick. So the Wildcats looking to come within a touchdown here as Cabrick kicks the extra point up and good. So Charlie Cabrick makes it a 14-7 score with 4:21 to play. Wildcats defense needs to respond, Bob, and we'll see what they do right after this here on 18 WJTS. Wildcats have cut the Reitz lead to one touchdown, 14-7 with 4:21 to play, Bob. And as we said, it's now time for the Jasper defense to take the fight to the Panthers.
Yeah, we have to bring our defensive backs up a little bit. We can't be given that screen. Our linebackers on the far side, now when they scored that touchdown on the seam, they guessed right. Our linebackers shot in from that side. They went down the seam. But we need to bring the wood to them.
Charlie Cabrick, who just kicked the extra point to make it a 14-7 ball game, will kick it off from the 40-yard line. Panthers with three-man deep.
And all of them have speed.
Including number 34 for the Panthers.
That's smart right there.
That's right. A ground ball kick is going to be taken at the 20. But bringing it upfield is number 30, Troy Davis. Three-eyed is Troy Davis. And Davis takes it across the 40 to the 41-yard line. A nice return by the Panthers.
That just shows what kind of speed they have. When he made this break, we had four guys over here. By the time he went from the far hash mark to the near hash mark, coming up by the numbers, he was already out ahead of us.
As I said, they bounced the ball to Davis, who was able to scoop it up and bring it all the way over here on the near sideline for a nice return to the 42-yard line. So the Panthers with excellent field position to start a new drive with 4:13 to play at the half. Again, Jasper's defense looking for a stop.
Let's see if they bring the heat from the linebackers or play it safe.
Davies out. Davies out of the shotgun. We'll hand it off to Davis. And Davis is brought down after a pickup of maybe two.
It looks like our defensive scheme right now is trying to get the pressure on the, if we pick up the running back, that's great, but trying to get pressure on the quarterback when he does those little quick slots. However, they snap the ball. He's already 5 yards back. He takes one step and releases. That is really quick.
Check that. That was number 34, Jonas Burnett on the carry. He picks up two. Second down and 8 at the 44 for Reitz.
Here we come again.
Davies again out of the shotgun. Ducks downfield. This time he has number 7, Hayden Summers. Summers still on his feet into Jasper territory at the 35. Drags a man with him all the way to the 31.
6'2", 185 pounds, nothing but pure athlete right there. Got a lot of strength. But once again, we are so far back. He runs 5 yards, turns his head. He catches the ball. When he turns around, catches where our defender's coming. He's in open space, and it's a first down.
Size and speed is a double whammy, no question about it. 3:20 to play. First and 10, Reitz marching right down the field. They're at the 32. Burnett on the carry this time. He will gain maybe one if that. Tackled on the play by the Wildcats. Number 65, Jake Winesapple.
Nice job getting low, getting some wrap on him.
So Winesapple with the nice defensive play holds Burnett at bay. Second down and 10 at the 32.
This is where they ran their seam route out when they scored their touchdown.
And a whistle and a timeout by Reitz, their second timeout of the half. With 2:45 to play, it's Reitz 14, Jasper 7. Panthers have second down and 10 at the 32. When we return after this here on 18 WJTS. Score here at the Reitz Bowl in Evansville, where the Wildcats trail the Panthers by a touchdown, and Bob Reitz knocking on the door. Right now they're at the 32, second down and 10.
Their second score was on the 4 hash mark where they sent number 11, Beal, down the seam, caught it, scored on the 4th and long. Now they were running that same exact play, and thank the goodness that Reitz called timeout because it was there.
Here we go, out of the shotgun once again. Looks downfield, fires, got a man open. Will he call it? Hits up with it. He does. It's incomplete. They're calling it incomplete. This just got underneath it, I suppose, but nonetheless, the pass is incomplete. Big break for the Wildcats. They'll bring up third down and 10.
That was impressive. Now, Thomas is coming up a little bit slow. He's their big 6'2", 185 receiver, and he's getting up a little slow, but he laid out, and when he threw that ball, I thought he was 10 yards in front of him, and Thomas chased that down. That was impressive.
Thomas, he did a great job trying to run that down, but it is a third down and 10 coming up here. Needless to say, 4-down territory for the Panthers.
You can tell that he landed on that ball the way he's gingerly. He got the air knocked out of him.
2:39 to play in the half. Ben Davies out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 10. He drops back. He'll fire another pass on the far sideline. It's time it is caught into the end zone for a touchdown. Pass is complete to number 7, Hayden Summers, for the touchdown. And the Panthers lead it now 20-7 with nearly 2.5 to play in the first half.
We have to keep separation from their receivers. He comes out about 5-7 yards, engages as a downfield blocker against our receiver. Our defensive back, once he engages, he yanks our guy up, and then he releases, and that's just a beautiful pass.
Well, once again, on with the extra point at Kemp is keeper Sanderson. He's 2 for 2 for the night. This time it is blocked by number 1, Charlie Kabrick. And that will keep the score at bay at 20-7 with 2:33 to play here in the first half. Wildcats will have the football coming up here shortly here on 18 WJTS. To play in the first half, Reitz scores again, but the extra point kick was blocked by Charlie Kabrick. It's now 20-7 Panthers, who will once again kick off to the Wildcats.
Jasper needs a big return.
Kicking at the 11-yard line is by number 25 for the Wildcats, Landon Fleck. And Fleck will take it across the 35 to about the 36.
You know, when Fleck got in the game last week against Harrison, even though he doesn't have a whole lot of bananas in those britches, I tell you what, he brought a whole lot of speed. And when he would get by those big guys from Harrison, he was a handful for them.
So the Wildcats, with a long ways to go, with 2:21 to play, looking to quickly move it down the field, perhaps, Bob, and try to get that score back.
Well, Jasper's not a quick scoring team. Hopefully we get a mistake from the silver helmets out there.
Here is Holsworth on the option. He will keep it. He will carry it about 2 yards to about the 39-yard line.
Even though it was a very sharp play, that was a big improvement from what he did last week in the 5 fumbles lost for Jasper. A lot of those he was going ahead and pitching. He did a nice job of going ahead and eating that one and going down.
I was going to note that, of course, big factor in last week's game against the Harrison Warriors were the 5 fumbles lost. Cats have yet to turn the ball over in this contest. And as I speak, the ball is down, and it belongs to the Panthers. I open my mouth and insert foot.
You know, and it's not so much that we're fumbling the ball. You know, it's the way we're fumbling the ball. I know both of them are bad, but we have got to secure that ball. Now that Young's out, all they're doing is stacking and bringing everybody. So
the Wildcats will cough it up and hand the football back to the Panthers on the turnover. 1st and 10 for Reitz at the 42-yard line.
Reitz can pretty well put the game out of reach if they punch us in.
Pick one up here, down there, and there's a screen pass on the far sideline. Actually, a halfback pass to number 7, and there he goes into the end zone for a touchdown as Hayden Summers, and just like that, it's 26-7.
I have no idea what kind of tackle that was. He went up there and just kind of slapped him with his hands. You're not bringing Reitz down. They haven't beat Jasper in some time. They're not happy with the black and gold. You know they're fired up and want to take them down, especially at home.
So the Panthers get what they want, without a doubt. A quick score here to pretty much, I know it's still a whole half left of this ball game, Bob, but could almost put this thing away, as you mentioned.
Well, we're not a quick strike team. They get the ball at the second half.
This extra point kick by Keither Sanderson is good. He's 3 for 4 on the night. It's 27-7 Reitz with a 1:33 to play in the first half. We'll be back after this on 18 WJTS. We're number 22 for the Panthers, Keither Sanderson. Once again, is set to kick off for the 5th time this evening, Bob. 4th time after a touchdown, as his Panthers, he and the Reitz Panthers lead it 27-7 after a quick score there to give the Panthers a bigger cushion as we are a minute and 33 away from the halftime break. Here's his kickoff.
Let it go out of bounds. Let it go out. Oh,
Well, he's got to pick it up right there at about the 18-yard line. He'll bring it forward to the 35, 40, still on his feet. Number 25 for the Wildcats, and that is Landon Fleck with the second return of the night. Second good return, in fact.
It was kind of reminiscent of the Reitz one where he picked the ball up on the 420 and he came back around. Sometimes when the ball hits the ground, that throws the return team, that throws them out of their lanes, which will give something. And if you give Fleck any ounce, any opening at all, his speed will carry you a long way.
Fleck takes it to the Reitz 49-yard line, so the Cats with 49 yards to try to score here quickly with a minute 24 to go in the first half. Here is the handoff to number 10, Jace Perkins. Perkins will take it to about the 46-yard line, and it'll be a timeout for the Wildcats. So minute 16 to play here at the Reitz Bowl. Jasper trails at 27-7. Bob will just keep it right here for the time being. Right now, I mean, like I said, you know, things are obviously, the Cats are struggling, but they need to get a big play coming up here if they have any chance to try to put one more on the board and gain some kind of a momentum going into the halftime locker room.
Well, it is going to be interesting going into the locker room and seeing how they come out. I know it's difficult to have fire in your belly when you're down by 20 points. But even at the beginning of this game, they looked very reminiscent of where they were against Harrison. They just don't seem to have that pep in their step right now, and they're going to have to find it. The only good thing that you can get out of this is everybody makes the playoffs. And even though we have injuries right now and it looks kind of bad right now, through the course of the year, do we improve?
27-7 again is our score with a minute 16. The Wildcats have 44 yards to pick up a score before the halftime break. Second down and 5.
I got to think if you're seriously considering putting the ball in the end zone, you got to put it in the air at some time, which is a big gamble for Coach Lewis.
Holsworth under center will pitch it out to the far side, and the ball is loose. Fumble on the play, and it looks like it was recovered by the Wildcats. Who was that? Number 34 for the Wildcats. Dawkins, the pitch went to, but he was unable to handle it, but fortunately was able to come up with the loose ball. And they're going to mark it only back to the 50.
Forward, you know, where he gained it, I guess they're going to say his forward momentum was there. But I'm with you, Kerry. I really think that they've done Jasper a favor there.
So third down and 11 from the 50-yard line with 38 seconds to go and the clock running.
Yeah, we're just going into halftime.
Carey is up the middle. Under 30 seconds to play now.
I was going to say, I don't even think he's going to burn his last time out unless he goes down to under 10 seconds and tries a desperation, put it in the air, maybe get an interference call.
Fourth down and 4. And this will probably bring us to the end of the first half. 20 seconds to go on the play clock, 11 on the game clock, and this will bring us to the end of the first half of play. With Reitz leading by the score. Are you going to actually call the timeout?
Well, get it down to 2 seconds, snap the ball, drop back, and throw it as far as you can. If you don't get the reception and put it in the end zone, who knows? Maybe you get an interference call that's going to make it. You got Cabrick kicking, who's got a great leg. You put it in within 20, 25 yards. I think he can put it through.
But with 2 seconds to go.
On a penalty, the half can't end on a defensive penalty.
No, you're exactly right. So the Wildcats trail at 27-7 with 2 seconds to go here in the first half. Panthers with some big strikes tonight, Bob, has been the difference, and big plays against the Jasper defense.
Well, you're absolutely right. The other thing is, with Young going out of the game, Reitz is stacking the line of scrimmage and just beating us by sheer numbers. But their specialty players are really good. They're really fast. They've got, you had said it the best here early in the second quarter. Speed and height, that's a deadly combination.
Mm-hmm. And no two ways about it. It's a double-edged sword. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, actually it's a double whammy.
Are we going to put him under center? Or are we going to go with the shotgun?
We'll see what happens here. He is actually going to be out of the shotgun. Holsworth out of the shotgun. Snaps, looks back, fires it downfield. It is intercepted by the Panthers by number 7 for Reitz, Hayden Semmers, and that will bring us to the end of the first half of play. Jasper trails the Reitz Panthers 27-7, Bob, as we go into the halftime break, and it looks like we got a man down at midfield for the Wildcats. We'll find out who that is shortly.
We cannot afford in another injury. At some point, the coach has got to go look up in the heavens and say, you got to be kidding me.
We're trying to find out who that is on the turf for the Wildcats. As the Wildcats statman Dave Mesper looking through his binoculars, trying to figure it out. But we'll try to pick him up right before when we return after this. We'll just take a break now and kind of hash out what we've seen thus far here in the first half, Bob, right after this here on 18 WJTS. By the way, once again, our score, Jasper 27, Reitz 17 at the halftime break, right after back after this. Back at the Reitz Bowl, where the Wildcats and the Panthers are getting ready to wrap up halftime in tonight's third week 3 game. And the Wildcats on the short end of a 27-7 score here, Bob. And just, I don't know really much to talk about in the statistical department, especially as far as the Wildcats are concerned, other than Carter Holsworth with 55 yards rushing on 14 carries. And for a total, the Cats have 110 yards on the ground, while the Panthers are with 59 yards on the ground. But the biggest stat of the night thus far is the 189 yards receiving by the Reitz Panthers on 13 catches and an average of 21 yards a catch.
They've got 189 yards, and I would venture to say at least 120 of those are untouched yards. They're sending their guys down 8 yards down the field, getting them in open spaces. And these receivers are big, they're strong, and they're crafty.
Leading the way for the Panthers is number 7, Hayden Semmers, who has 6 catches for 145 yards of 24.2 average. His longest was a 42-yard reception, and he's got 2 touchdowns. The other touchdown catch was made by number 1, Xavier Thomas. The Panthers were scored with 7.5 minutes to go on the Levi Oxley 1-yard rush. They've also, Wildcats, their 2 scores, or 1 score I should say, came with 5:36 to go on the in the second quarter as Jace Perkins ran it in from 4 yards out, and Charlie Cabrick's extra point kick made the score of, gave the Wildcats, put them on the board at that point. Right now they just trail it 27-7, Bob, what's the say about the Wildcats to kind of try to right the ship, so to speak, here in the second half?
Well, even though when Young was in the game and he got the ball knocked out of his hand and he picked it up and he was able to make 1 or 2 yards, since he's left the game, we have put the ball on the turf 3 times that I've got marked down. I may have possibly missed one. Jasper's fire is not there. Now it's very difficult to have fire when you're down this much, but game of football is wacky, you know. Certain things can happen. But in order for Jasper to try to force the issue at this particular point, I don't see why they wouldn't force the issue, is you got to play within 7 yards of the receivers.
And the one thing, as I was saying, when the Wildcats did score with 5:36 to go in the second, it made the score 14-7. But the Panthers with 2 quick scores right there, Bob, to really gain a big momentum. And it's up to the Wildcats now to light a fire underneath their belly, in their belly, and trying to right this ship, as we said.
Yeah, I think the quote of the night comes from what you said earlier in the game about when you talk about receivers and you got height and you got speed. You know, that's the double-edged sword, and you know that's just what it is. Their receivers, when they do come out and they're not running the screen, they will lock horns with us, and then they will grab us in the numbers, which is legal, and they will yank us towards them. They will sidestep. They are so fast that the quarterback will lay the ball out 15 yards in front of them, and they will go get it.
And Ben Davies is getting a lot of protection from his line right now. He is actually 8 of 12 in the air with 147 yards and 2 scores.
Absolutely, he's getting some protection, but the success that he's having is all play design by the Reitz coaching staff. He gets into the shotgun, he snaps the ball, gives a half-hearted fake. Reitz just runs the ball enough. I know they're capable, but right now they're just running the ball enough to throw off the pass, you know, let the other team know. And then he's just taking one step and releasing it. So he's getting rid of the ball within 3 to 4 seconds. That's awful quick.
So the Wildcats will kick off to start the second half. Charlie Kabrick will set the football at the 41-yard line. Jasper looking to, like I said, get some momentum back in this game. You got to remember, though, Bob, about the
about the running clock.
About the running clock, as I was just getting ready to listen to this.
You know what, Kerry, there is the most embarrassing thing for a team is to have the running clock against you. And in high school football, you get the running clock, even though you may push the point total within 35 points again, it will not stop. It will continue to run throughout the game.
All right, Kabrick comes forward with the kickoff to start the second half. Looks like number 7 for the Panthers will keep it, Hayden Summers, and he will be brought back as he danced a little bit too much back there, Bob.
Oh, absolutely. But then why wouldn't he? He's done it twice in the first half and been very successful on it. But we did a nice job of taking away we took a better angle, took away his ability to loop. Not only that, but when we hit him, we wrapped and brought him down.
So the Panthers will start their first drive of the half. 1st and 10 from the 25. Ben Davies again under center with Jonas Burnett behind him. Actually, sorry, Davies out of the shotgun with Burnett behind him. He has got the carry, Burnett, and he rumbles his way across the 35-yard line to about the 37, maybe the 38.
Sounds or looks to me like the coaching staff may have gotten a hold of him and said, "Would you quit dancing in the backfield? Just get the ball, go north and south." Reitz did a nice job of opening up a hole, and he hit it hard.
38-yard line is where the ball is spotted. Once again, a handoff to number 34, Jonas Burnett. Tackled on the play by the Wildcats, number 62, Tyson Rue.
We did a nice job on our defensive line of standing up their offensive line to where our linebackers could come in and make a pop.
Second down and 8.
They got Beals and Thomas on the same side.
Pass is complete on the near side, I should say, to Hayden Summers, and Summers is finally wrestled down by, looks like, Charlie Kabrick with the initial stop.
He's hobbling a little bit.
Ball will be spotted at the 41-yard line, so it looks like a pickup of 13 on the play.
I would say if he's got anything bothering him at all with this type of lead, moving the ball the way they are, the Reitz coaching staff will probably yank him out.
1st down and 10 from the 38. Or 48, I should say, actually. 34 on the run on the carry. Scoreboard's really been off this start of this half. I mean, that's why I said 38, because I was looking at the scoreboard here. I should have known better.
Our linebacker, we had 2 linebackers shoot that time. When you shoot like that, you get through the offensive line, you must break down and find the ball. We're going 7 yards deep looking for the ball. By that time, the running back's gone.
2nd down and 10 from the 49. Here's a dump pass on the far side. to number 9, and that is Roland Vera Jr. And Vera will take it, looks like right to the 45 for a pickup of 4, bringing up third down, I should say, 3rd down and 6.
One of the better times that Jasper has made the open field tackle and won that battle. That's happened very few times tonight.
Just underway here in the 3rd quarter of play here on 18 WJTS from the Reitz Bowl.
Going to Summers.
And he makes the catch. Summers is ridden out of bounds by, looks like, Charlie Cabrick along with Corbin Bagley. So Bagley and Cabrick combined to make the stop on the play. But it'll be enough for a 1st down for the Panthers. 1st and 10, Reitz at the Jasper 35.
Davies is just taking the ball and slinging it at this point, and his receivers are making plays. Jasper's got to make them pay for it, but right now they don't even look like they're close to doing that.
9:34 to play. Here's a handoff to Jonas. He tries the far side, tries to cut up field, and Jonas Burnett takes it to about, looks like around the 32. That's actually the 30-yard line. They'll spot it. So pickup of 5, 2nd down and 5 at the 30.
One of the few times Reitz has taken him and tried to get him to the outside. He did a nice job of planting the foot, avoiding the front tackler from Jasper, and picking up an extra 4.
Under 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Fumble on the play, and it's going to be, and jumping on it is going to be Ben Davies. So that'll result in a loss of about 4, perhaps.
That was one of those carry to where you're kind of already in the 3/4 of the way down the road in the play before you even catch the ball.
Exactly. Panthers, for the most part, keeping it on the ground still, at least burning a lot of clock here in the 3rd.
Well, they know Jasper's not a quick strike team, and why not try to work on a few things that you may need down the road? Who knows? These same 2 teams could meet in the playoffs.
Certainly, they are potential sectional opponents.
There we go, number 9.
Pass up the middle to a wide open number 9, Roland Vera Jr. for the touchdown.
Jasper cannot, for whatever reason, figure out the seam routes. He went down. Did you see any white shirt within 10 yards of it?
Absolutely not. Ben Davies found a wide open number 9, Roland Vera, with probably nobody within 10 yards of him. And just like that, the Panthers score once again to start the 2nd half. They lead it 33-7.
Yeah, you look at these receivers, and other than Beal, that comes in about 210, you're looking 175, 185 pounds. That's a lot of speed. Kiefer
Sanderson drills his 4th extra point out of 5 tries tonight. It's 34-7. Reitz on top of the Wildcats. 8:08 to play in the 3rd. Here on 18 WJTS. Back after this. Ross Dawkins and Landon Flecker back to receive. Yet another kickoff by the Panthers' number 22, Kiefer Sanderson.
Think his foot's sore yet?
Mine would be. And it looks like 25 for the Wildcats. Fleck will bring it upfield. And Fleck is going to kick it to about the 23, maybe the 24-yard line before he is wrapped up by a host of Panther tacklers.
You know, they've often said, Kerry, that you got offense, defense, and specialty team, the 3 facets of your football game.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, we're not anywhere near what Reitz has brought to the table.
Exactly. The Panthers have come to play tonight. The Wildcats really shown a lack of desire from this point. I mean, they're being outmanned, outburned by the Reitz receivers and being met right at the line by the Reitz defense. On the carry for the Wildcats is Jace Perkins. He will be wrapped up by Aiden Wells and Braden Hudson for the Panthers.
You know, Perkins is, I kind of like his game. He had 3 blue shirts on him, and he continued to carry them and give us a positive 4 yards.
Gain of 4 on the play, 2nd down and 6 at the 28-yard line. 7.5 to play here in the third. And a whistle, and we got penalty marker down. As it looks like a Reitz man looked like an old Joe Rollletter blitz, didn't it?
Well, it looked like he was going up to our center and trying to pickpocket him. He was looking right at him.
Mm-hmm.
It was just way too deep. But at this point, when you got this type of lead, Jasper not having the quick strike capability, you take a few chances. Now, the only positive thing on the right side of that penalty is it will give the coaches something to bark about during practice.
So the Wildcats will have, looks like, 2nd down and 1 on the penalty against the Panthers for encroachment. Again, they're showing blitz. And again, right up the middle is going to be number 6, the quarterback for the Wildcats, and that is Carter Holsworth.
Holsworth himself is showing some decent fight tonight. He continues to do what he did in the first half. He may be over the century mark, which would be pretty impressive, being that he's been hit almost every single time at the line of scrimmage.
So the football spotted at the 38-yard line. 1st down and 10 for Jasper with the clock running at 6:42 to play in the third. Whether mercy rule or not, this is so far been a quick second half. But it's only 34-7 at this point.
They're blitzing. We're not putting the ball in the air. We're not even attempting to put the ball in the air. So they're just selling out. They're bringing everybody. Reitz usually does not bring this much heat, but if you know that your opponent is not going to put the ball in the air, hey, why not?
Roland Vera right there to meet quarterback Carter Holsworth on that play, which results in it looks like a loss of perhaps 3. So a 3-yard loss, 2nd down and 13 at 35.
I will give the offensive lineman a pass in this particular way of you got one guy trying to guard, block 3 people. That's highly impossible. Here they come again.
Holsworth rolls out to his right. He fires a pass. It is incomplete, broken up by number 7, Hayden Summers. Make that number 2. Was number 2, my apologies, which is Aiden Wells. So nice defensive play by Wells on that pass play by the Wildcats.
Well, as the Jasper receiver came out and you see a blue shirt in front of you, you must maneuver yourself in front of him to get that ball, whether you got a curl on that flag or what you got to do. But you must put yourself in front of the defender.
5:39 to play in the third. Incomplete pass stops the clock. 3rd down and 13. Pass is nearly broken up again this time. This was intended for Charlie Kabrick. And once again on the play is Roland Vera Jr. He's been playing the ball well on both sides of the ball actually tonight, Bob.
Yeah, we've seen him on offense. We know he's got the good hands. That right there kind of shocks me. And it may have shocked him that, we put it right in his hands. But it was so easy. I think he's seen the end zone down there and, kind of moved before he actually brought the ball in.
So the Wildcats will be forced to punt. Kabrick back for Jasper. 1 man back deep for the Panthers. And that is going to be Roland Vera again. He will be the man back to receive the punt, but we got a whistle, and as a delay of game. Delay of game will be called against the Wildcats to push it back 5 more.
That is just absolutely inexcusable at this point. You're nowhere close to the 1st down. The punt team should be out there, and all you're doing is snapping the ball and punting it. You're not trying to run a fake. You're not trying to do any of that stuff. Snap the ball and punt, and to get a delay of game on there, that's crazy.
So Kabrick will try it again from about the 20. High punt, but short, and a fair catch is going to be called. Now, as I say, he did wave fair catch and then tried to run with it. Vera.
It should be a flag.
Yeah. No flag was thrown. And the ball is going to be spotted at, looks like the 36, 37 maybe. Yeah, it looks like the 37. With 5:06 to play here in the third quarter. Reitz with the football once again. Looking to put perhaps a final nail into Jasper Coffin this evening. If they could score again.
Well, I'll say this: if that lid is not nailed shut, it's gosh darn close.
Got a little friend hanging right in front of my window at the Reitz Bowl press box. That is a huge spider, dude. I'm gonna flick it out of there. Anyway, handoff goes on the carry. Looks like it was at 34 again, Jonas. Jonas Burnett with the carry, and he's going to actually lose about a yard or two. 2 yards loss on the play.
I got to think at some point that Reitz is going to start getting some fresh bodies in there.
Still behind center is the quarterback, Ben Davies, who drops back, and he loses the football, the fumble on the play, and it looks like it's going to be recovered by the Wildcats. It is. We see who made the recovery there. 32 for the Wildcats. That is Will Wallace. Will Wallace on the fumble recovery for Jasper.
That play right there was going to be a screen, and you and I both know, and anybody that knows anything about football, when you run that middle screen, you bump the lineman, defensive lineman, let them pass, they throw the ball to the back, and then you progress forward. That one right there, for whatever reason, maybe because they've got a big lead with very little time left in the third quarter, they just let Jasper go, and our guys hit the quarterback without even being touched.
So Jasper takes over, 1st and 10 from the Reitz 22. On the carry for the Wildcats is Jace Perkins. Perkins will pick up at least 2, maybe 3 on the play. He'll take it down to the 19, so a gain of 3. Alex Sitzman makes the stop for the Panthers. So 2nd down and 7 at the 19.
One thing a coach looks for when you have this type of game going is when your team is down, do your guys show some fight? And it appears that they're starting to pick it up a little bit.
Whistle and play is ruled dead, as it looks like it will be a legal procedure call against Jasper, so that'll march it back 5. Back pedal at 5.
To say at this juncture you can ill afford to have any type of penalty would be a silly thing to say, even though I just said it.
And the clock starts to run again under the 4-minute mark. 2nd down and 12 now from the 24. Handoff goes to number 34 on the carry for the Wildcats. And that is Ross Dawkins. Dawkins was brought up, I guess, this week. He is not on the roster because he's actually a freshman. And he was one of, I believe, 3 freshmen brought up by Coach Lewis and the Wildcat varsity staff from the freshman squad this week.
Well, I will say this about Dawkins. I know Schmidt, that was brought up, is supposed to be a pretty good size and a pretty good player. But Dawkins, if he's got half the strength that his brother Lance did, that bodes well for Jasper's future.
3 minutes to go in the third quarter. On 3rd down, it looks like a face mask is going to be called as Holsworth was wrapped up on the play, I believe. If he held on to it was Holsworth on the carry. Couldn't tell exactly if he had made a handoff or not, but.
Well, they brought the 2 defensive tackles, they brought them shooting into the 1 gap, which is right outside the center, and then they brought a linebacker. So once again, you had 2 players for Jasper trying to block 3 from Reitz.
Well, the officials with a long conversation have not exactly made a signal on the penalty, and it will be a face mask against Reitz, and it depends on what is it's going to be a walk-off all the way down inside the 10, so it'll bring up 1st and goal for Jasper.
Interesting. That particular face mask did not look as vicious as a couple that me and your brother witnessed, that they only moved 5.
2nd down and 40. Second down and, or 1st down, I should say, and goal at the 9. And pass is incomplete in the end zone. That'll bring up 2nd down and goal at the 9.
Well, he raised up. He threw the ball into defensive pressure, If he'd have just took a little gander off to his right, he would have seen Dawkins coming out to the outside the hash marks, walking into the end zone with nobody within 15 yards of him. But let's see if we can still punch this in.
2nd and goal at the 9 for the Cats. And it looks like motion is probably going to be called on here as a play is not blown dead, but on the carry is Dawkins. And it will be penalty most likely against the Wildcats.
Yeah, it looks like an illegal shift.
Illegal shift against the Cats is right. We'll see where they mark the football from here. Still going to bring up 2nd and goal, but from it looks like from the 14.
Well, I like what they did earlier when they ran the receiver, even though we had it incomplete. They ran the seam route to where both guys from Reitz bid on it, and Dawkins was able to tail out. Maybe that's open again.
All right, so 2nd and goal this time from the 14-yard line for Jasper. And looks like another procedure against the Cats. Another movement by the Wildcat line, apparently. Bring back another 5.
You got to be disciplined. This is all discipline and concentration. I know we're getting deep into the 3rd quarter, almost into the 4th. I know you're getting tired. I know you're getting your rear ends beat up and down the field. I know it's frustrating, but you got to concentrate.
So now 2nd and goal from the 19-yard line. Clock starts to run again with 2:19 to play in the 3rd. Holsworth under center. Rolls out to his left. Looks, and he will be hit and brought down.
Absolutely no contact with number 35 right there. None at all.
That's exactly right, and that is 35, Levi Oxley, a 6 foot, 225-pound junior. Wraps up Carter Holsworth.
I know he's going to get a sack credit on that, but I got to be honest with you, Kerry. I'm 55 years old, and if nobody's going to touch me, I believe I may have been able to get out there. We've got to show more resistance on that.
Minute and a half to play, 3rd down and 18 now. 3rd down and goal from the 18. And there's going to be wrapped up on the play as the quarterback Holsworth.
And that's Oxley again.
Oxley once again left unattended, unmolested it through the line, and he makes another great defensive play for the Reitz Panthers.
The one thing that when Jasper has put the ball up in the air, first of all, we're constantly going under center, which, okay, if that's your game plan, and we'll roll him out. Why not drop him straight back? I mean, why not release the ball quick? We're not blocking these guys.
Here's Holsworth on 4th down. Fires a pass. It is intercepted by the Panthers. Number 7 for it has it as Hayden Summers. And Summers may take it. He's down the far near sideline, still on his feet. Breaks 2 tackles. He's going to take it all the way for about a 96-yard touchdown on a 6-6. And it's going to be 40-7 Reitz.
There's a flag down.
We have a penalty flag on this far end. It's probably going to, looks like it's going to bring it back. Or we're talking to Reitz. And it is a hold against the Panthers, so that's going to nullify that long interception return.
Really, the only thing that's been able to stop Reitz tonight's the officials.
Certainly on that one. But,
well, once again, we're on the 43-yard line across midfield, so we're on Jasper's side of the ball. We've got 2 guys that go up, and he has shown all day, game long that he's able to break tackles. We hit him high, and we just bump him and slap him. No wrapping, no nothing. You're not going to bring him down like that. He's too good.
Well, the penalty is against the Panthers on the hold. And by the way, that brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter. So let's go ahead and take a break right now. It's 34-7 Reitz as we head into the 4th quarter of play here on 18 WJTS. Back at the Reitz Bowl for the 4th and final period of play. Reitz leads at 34-7. They have the football at their own 14 after interception return for a touchdown was nullified by a penalty. And here on the carry is number 34 once again for the Panthers, and that is Jonas Burnett. Burnett with a lot of dancing and still manages to pick up probably about, looks like about 8 yards on the play. Second down and 2 at the 22.
Well, Jasper right now is what I like to call clapping. When they come up, instead of getting their body into the running back, they're sitting there and just trying to slap and grab an arm, grab a leg. It's like you got to drive yourself in there. These guys will run right over you.
First string still in for the Panthers with 11 minutes to play. And here is the quarterback on the keeper, and that actually is going to be Ben Davies. Davies will bring it over on the run to the near sideline to about the 30-yard line. Actually, we're going to call it at the 29. It's a first down for the Panthers.
Well, Davies did what you're supposed to do, get the first down. Now, he did bounce out of bounds, but, at this point, it doesn't really matter whether the clock stopped or started. Jasper's out of this game. But, let's try to work on a few things, take a few chances, see what happens.
Out of the shotgun, the carry is going, the handoff, I should say, is going to go to number 34, Jonas Burnett on the carry. Jacob Weinzappel along with Cole Trevino. By the way, on the injured player we had earlier in the game, we forgot to mention, was number 52, Mateo Hernandez. So he will be, not exactly sure how bad his injury was. He was slapping his hand on the Reitz Bowl turf. Best wishes to him.
Glare.
Pass is complete to Roland Vera. And Vera across the 45 to about the 48-yard line. So Roland Vera, we called his number many a times tonight, Bob, both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, I want to give a little bit of credit right there to Victor Peter. He came up and missed him initially, but did not give up on the play. Now, he did cross the chains to where he could move it, but Peter did not give up and brought him down.
First and 10, Panthers at their own 48. Handoff goes to Burnett. Burnett into Wildcat territory to the 40, 35-30. Down the sideline he goes for a 52-yard touchdown run, and the Panthers are now leading it 40-7.
Coaching staff for Reitz made a little bit of an adjustment. Jasper's we're bringing everybody, but we're bringing everybody within the tackles. And although in the first half when he did carry the ball, he was staying inside, he is now bouncing outside. Jasper did not adjust, and it was just a matter of time before he went to the house.
So Jonas Burnett and the Panthers are going to go just kick the extra point. We thought maybe if they go for two, if they scored again to make it a 35-point game, but they will just go for the extra point as, once again, it is Kiefer Sanderson on for the extra point. And Kiefer Sanderson, it hit the upright, it still went through. It hit the right upright, it looked like, but nonetheless, the referee said it still crossed the, split through the upright itself.
Well, when it's going good, Kerry.
When you have, when it's going your way, it's going your way, no question about it. And it has definitely been all Reitz tonight as they lead at 41-7 with 9:48 to go in this ball game. We'll be back after this on 18 WJTS. Fleck and Ross Dawkins are back to receive for the Jasper Wildcats on yet another kickoff. I guess that's still Kiefer out there, is it? Yeah. No, I'm sorry. I thought they had somebody different. 28, Xander Smith, a sophomore, will get a chance to do a kickoff tonight for the Panthers. And that is a short kick. Taken at the 23-yard line and brought forward to the 35, to the 36. And that is Landon Fleck on the return. So Fleck with a return to the, looks like it's going to be at the 36-yard line. We'll look to see if the Wildcats will keep Holsworth in at the quarterback spot. Charlie Gabrick comes wide to this near side. Under center. And a whistle and a penalty flag against the Panthers. So encroachment is the call against Reitz.
That also very well could have went against the black and gold.
So the Panthers jump off sides. And it'll bring up a 2nd down and 5 now from the 41, just inside the 40.
As disciplined as Reitz is, you're starting to see some new numbers in there, so you're going to get that.
Almost another encroachment on by the Panthers as the handoff goes up the middle. Beekline, number 20. Who'd you have on that carry? 25 Landon Fleck. Okay, I just said Beekline. I want to thank Dave and Matt Mesmer, the Wildcat statisticians, for kind of helping me out. As I had to point out early on, I was having a heck of a time picking up the numbers on the Wildcats jerseys from this high up especially, but I got the Wildcat spotters to my right and picking up their calls and the numbers, so appreciate that, gentlemen.
Well, I'm getting a little tired of this number 35 for Reitz. It's Oxley. Once again, he came in and made the hit. Jasper was very fortunate not to turn that ball over because he was making contact as the handoff was being done. Somebody's got to pick him up.
1:44 to play. 1st and 10 Wildcats from their own 48. Handoff goes to Dawkins.
The counter.
Ross Dawkins is tackled on the play by Jason Sanders.
The counter cannot go outside. You have got to cut that up inside. You can say, well, there wasn't a whole lot inside. You know, I'm talking inside the tackle as you're coming up. There was absolutely nothing to the outside, and Reitz is just too fast. You're not going to go and beat them to the corner.
Sanders, along with Caleb Utley, were able to cut through the line and grab Dawkins for a loss of 3, 2nd down and 13 at the 45. Holsworth on the carry into Panthers territory at about the 45.
One of the better reads that Holsworth has had tonight. He's seen the defensive ends and the linebacker start to pop out to the pitch man, so he cut it back up inside. Nice job of getting 7.
Braidlin Hudson makes the tackle for Reitz, nearing the 7.5-minute mark in the 4th quarter. 41-7 Panthers. Pitch goes to the near side. That is number 34 again, Dawkins. And once again, Braylon Hudson on the tackle.
You got a Wildcat down on the far side. Hasn't turned his back to us yet, so I can't see his number.
And a man down on, as Bob said, at about the 39-yard line.
You know, that was a heck of a job by Holsworth that got that pitch out there, because once again, Oxley came in untouched.
I believe that's number 30, Drew Bradley, who might just have a cramp.
You see him slapping the turf like you were talking about earlier with our other player.
Perhaps, hopefully that was just a cramp.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen.
What, once they lock in, man, that is painful.
Yeah, I haven't seen Mateo back on the field since he went down right at the 50-yard line. As the Wildcats trainers continue to work on him. So the Wildcats trying to just do the best they can up at this point, Bob, as Drew Bradley is up and walking on his own power back off the field.
That's good to see.
Cats will be on the road again here at Evansville next week to take on the Bossy Bulldogs. That will be at Inlow Field. Reitz will look to go, well, they will go 3-0 tonight and look to make it a 4-0 start next week as they will travel to the north side and take on the North Huskies at Abundance Stadium. First down for the Wildcats at the 40-yard line now after that carry. Under 7 minutes to play. First and 10 at the 40-yard line. Landon Fleck on the carry, and a flag comes in for the back. Probably looks like from that it'll probably be a hold against the Wildcats.
That's kind of what it looked like.
Usually when it comes from that direction, that is the case. But, you know, with under 7 minutes to play in a 41-7 game, it's actually a face mask against Jasper is what the call is going to be.
Wow, you usually that's a rare call on offense. You know, that was one thing.
I don't remember the last time I seen that at any level of football.
That's one thing Craig and I have always talked about. You know, they call face masks on the defense all the time, but when these running backs come out and they put the stiff arm up, they get it right up in the grill, and you rarely see the flag.
So 6.5 minutes to play. Second down and 10. A third. All right, either way to Pat. Here's a catch is made by number 34. And that, of course, is Ross Dawkins. Ross Dawkins having himself a maiden voyage on the Wildcat varsity tonight.
Dawkins has done a heck of a job tonight.
So bright spot for the Cats tonight is freshman Ross Dawkins. It's going to be first and 10 from the 11. (35) 25, my apologies. On the run, Landon Fleck.
You know, it's pretty important that Jasper gets some of these young players and get them some game time. And, you know, and I know this is a hostile environment down here at the bowl and all that, but you look at Reitz, other than Thomas, number one, their receiver, they're sophomores and juniors. They're specialty players.
5.5 minutes to go, and the Wildcats have it at the 4-yard line. Second down and 3. Jace Perkins on the carry with number 25, Jessiam Ussery, with his second straight tackle here on this series.
Yeah, he may have gotten the tackle on that one, but Oxley took up 2 blockers, which opened up the guy flowing from the backside, which is really how your defense should work.
Third down and 1 at the 2. Cats trying to punch one in here. And a flag on the play.
Well, we jumped, but did they draw us off?
We'll see what the call is made by the referee. And the man with the white hat down there is yet to make an indication. And he will call it offsides against Reitz.
What a guy, what a guy.
God bless him. So that'll bring up first down then. Should be first. It looks like it's the marker on the far side says first down. Yeah, that should be first and goal at the 1.
Well, it'd be nice to punch us in. Maybe Jasper starts to feel a little bit better about how things are going.
And in on the run into the end zone from 1 yard out is number 10 for the Wildcats, Jace Perkins, the senior 5'8", 212-pound running back. Gets the second score for the Wildcats tonight with 4:37 to play in this ball game. 41-13 is our score.
Well, that's a positive.
Regardless, the Cats moved the ball pretty well on that drive, Bob. Despite a few penalties, they were still persevered, and Here's Charlie Cabrick with his second attempt of the night for a PAT, and this time this one as well is good. It's 41-14. The Reitz Panthers lead the Wildcats. 4:37 to play in this contest. We'll be back after this here on 18 WJTS. In the driver's seat of this one, 41-14. And when we talk about the Reitz Panthers, with a lot of their guns and a lot of their studs tonight, they are actually a fountain of youth.
Yeah, it's only number one Xavier Thomas, who is an outstanding player, but he's the only one graduating this year. Now, I'm trying to figure out their line. They've moved in so many numbers here and there as the game has progressed deep in the fourth quarter, but Reitz is they're going to be a handful for another couple of years. Their quarterback only a sophomore.
As you said, with a sophomore quarterback and at least two junior receivers, the future looks bright for the Reitz football program. We've kind of seen some lean years in the last couple of years, Bob, but Corey Brunson, who of course now in his third year here at the helm of his alma mater. Corey is 10-14 in his third year here at Reitz, 44-54 in 10 years overall in head coaching. But some good-looking skilled players who are young, and as the line, as you mentioned too, Reitz is going to be a force to be reckoned once again, as they always used to be, have been. But despite a few lean years, Reitz football is on the way back.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, that the guy behind the scenes bringing in players from other schools, he brought in some talent, and when most of your teams are 4 or 5 miles away, you're within your legal rights to do it.
New quarterback for the Panthers, that's number 17, Jacob Tenbarge. And on the carry was a new face, a sophomore, Xander Smith. Actually, I think we called him earlier. But Xander Smith is another one of the youngins. He's a sophomore. And he's only at 5'5", 135, but he's a husky-looking little player despite that.
Yeah, but, it's great to see him out there. But the thing about it with Davies, even being a sophomore, man, he throws a good ball. Now you got receivers that can go get it, but he does make a good delivery.
So out of the shotgun again is Jacob Tenbarge. He carries it off once again to number 28, Xander Smith. 57 for the Wildcats, Hunter Eckert, along with number 60, Hunter Kippenbrock, will make the stop on the play. It's 3rd down and 15 now. From the 30 with 3:20 and counting, or counting down is the clock with 3:20 to play.
Well, let's see if the Cats can get a stop and get a ball back, try to make this game a little bit more respectable.
28 on the hand. He is met behind the line of scrimmage. Big initial hit, but he still managed to get away and probably get it back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, we hit him hard, but we hit him up in the shoulder pads, and we could hear that up here. When you hit them that high, they can still, if they got a strong base, twist and get a yard or so.
Tyson Rue and Hunter Eckert combined to make the stop on that play. It's going to be bring up 4th down and 16. And the Panthers will take their sweet time. With the play clock down to 13, game clock down to 2.5 minutes. Wildcats will fall to 1-2. As I said, they'll be back on the road next week and take on Bosse at Enlow Field. And a timeout is going to be called by the Reitz Panthers, Bob, and we'll keep it right here. So Reitz, as we said, they will be on the road next week, or if you want to call it that, remain in the city, but they will be the visiting team at North next week to take on the Huskies. Jasper, as we said, will have to just try to regroup and try to get right the ship and get some things straightened out as they play the Bulldogs next week.
Yeah, of course, if Jasper somehow figures out how to win that game last week, this loss tonight stings, but doesn't really kill you a whole bunch. But if you look at Jasper's schedule, we go to Bosse, we're on the road. Then we got Mater Dei at home. Mater Dei beat Castle 17-14. Then and Central is they're up and down, but Jasper really hasn't shown anything yet. And then you've got Castle and North, and then Vince sends it home. Their schedule just definitely does not get any easier.
Absolutely not. And the Panthers will punt for maybe the first time this evening, I'm thinking. Can't recall exactly. Actually, the second time. But
well, it looks like a weird formation for them. So, yeah, it's probably their first time tonight.
Mitchell Leinenbach is the lone receiver back for Jasper. And that is a punt that will roll out of bounds about at the 30-yard line, maybe the 29. With 2:12 to play, 41-14, Reitz on top.
The only thing Jasper can do right now is try to go down and get a score and make the game a little bit closer. And they got a bunch of new jerseys out there in the blue.
As you can well imagine, at this point of the ball game of this magnitude, of this type, you're going to see a lot of fresh faces on both sides of the ball. Butel was possibly was one of the freshmen that was brought in, but is it still Carter out there as a quarterback? Yes, he is. Yes, he is, number 6. Carter Holsworth will remain at the quarterback spot, replacing Grant Young, who went down once again with an injury tonight. Aggravated an injury that kept him out of the Harrison game last week. And another motion penalty. It's kind of prolongs the night.
You know, you try to sit here and you try to make sense of all this stuff.
Actually, that penalty will go against Reitz. So mark off 5 there to make it down 1st and 5 at the 35.
Well, it's very understandable to be a little bit confused on that one because they very well could have called that on Jasper. But I guess they're saying Reitz is pulling Jasper off the ball because we had some guys move early.
1st and 5 from the 35. 2:11 to play. And another bad jump, but no penalty is called this time. Ball is fumbled, and it's going to be recovered by the Wildcats.
So that's 5 times we put the ball on the turf tonight to go with our silly penalties. It's just...
Good thing you're keeping count because I wasn't.
Well, we didn't lose 5.
At least we didn't lose 5 like last week. Exactly right. That's true.
If we would have lost the 5 like we did against last week, the number, I feel that this game is a little bit embarrassing because I know what Jasper standards are, but man, it could have really been out of control.
And there it's smacked right as soon as he tried to make that pitch is Carter, and Carter was able to land on that football. So Holsworth, hopefully he didn't get kind of a sigh of relief that he didn't get hurt on that play.
Well, he recovered it because the guy tackled him on the ball. So that worked. But what's happening here is when we're running that option to the far side, we've got a lineman pulling. And the other lineman beside him is supposed to take a half step down, pick up the stunner, but they're just selling out. They're going too fast.
Under a minute to play. Play up the middle. 45 seconds to go.
I got to think that this is the last snap of the game.
Play clock is just or about a few seconds ahead of the game clock, so they'll have to get one more off here on this 4th down play. Number 8 at the quarterback for the Wildcats. That is number 8, A.J. Holzman, 5'10" sophomore. What is likely going to be the final play of the ball game, perhaps. We'll see. 24 seconds left on the game clock. On the run is number 25 for the Wildcats. And that is, of course, for the Wildcats, Landon Fleck, who had a nice game tonight, Bob, for the junior. But the Wildcats are going to fall as the clock winds down with 3 seconds. Actually, they'll stop it right there, as Reitz will take over on down, so we'll get one more snap. 3 seconds left.
You would have to think the old knees coming here. Kerry, I thought Holsworth did some decent things tonight. I like Dawkins. I think he's got some real promise. Fleck on especially our special teams, caught the ball on the kickoffs, and he had a lot of opportunities tonight and did some good things, had some nice returns. I think Perkins did a fairly decent job tonight. But other than that, Jasper just got whipped.
No two ways about it. The Wildcats will fall to 1-2 on the year. Reitz will stay unblemished at 3-0 as the clock winds down, as the knee is down there. And both teams will line up to shake hands as Tony Lewis and Corey Brunson meet at the middle of the Reitz Bowl field here. The turf. The Wildcats go down big here at the Reitz Bowl to the Reitz Panthers, 41-14. Bob, talk a little bit about the ball game, kind of break down things just a bit.
Well, Coach Lewis, his message to his team after last week's loss to Harrison was we cannot be out physical played the way Harrison did. We came in tonight, and evidently Jasper did not get the message because, once again, Reitz took the fight to Jasper. Now, at some point, you got to start questioning whether we've got the capability of being more physical than the other teams, because the effort that we put forth tonight, the game was much, much further apart than what the score was.
Right, and it's a ball game that the Cats are just going to have to obviously lick their wounds and try to figure some things out as they will be heading off to back down here next week to take on Boise and try to do what they can to salvage the season with a big road ahead, as you said.
Well, you're going to hear people from Jasper say that, well, we've got injuries to key places. Absolutely. But there's an old adage when it comes to athletics, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, it doesn't matter. Next person up. And so far, Jasper's searching. We've brought 3 freshmen up. Dawkins looks like he's got some possibilities. See what the other 2 guys can do and just go on. Like you said, lick your wounds, get back to it, and see if we can straighten things out next week against Boise.
Well, let's take a quick look at the stats here for the game. Looks like team-wise, actually let's take a look at some individual stats here for the Wildcats. They were led in rushing by quarterback Carter Holsworth, who had to come in, I believe, in the second quarter to replace Grant Young, who went down after once again aggravating his injury that kept him out of the Harrison game last week. Holsworth with 21 carries and 61 yards. His longest gain was 10 yards. Grant Young himself, in the time he was in the game, picked up 29 yards on 7 carries. Jace Perkins with a fine night tonight with 35 yards and Landon Fleck 28. And, of course, we also saw Dawkins with a nice night this evening, too. Kind of a little debut for him as a varsity football player. Wildcats only picked up 29 yards in the air as they were 1 for 7 with a 1 completion by Carter Holsworth in this contest. But let's take a look at the Reitz Panthers. Of course, the big night, of course, was Ben Davies out of the quarterback spot. He was 13 out of 17 with 224 yards tonight. Reitz altogether with 266 yards. The other 42 coming on Rolovera's receiving pass, I should say, on that one play for a touchdown. And really, the Panthers for the night. Let's see, we had as a team were, 21 yards average pass in the first half, you pointed out?
Absolutely.
Finished with 19 on the night.
Well, that's acceptable. You almost get 2 first downs on your average. You know your night's going pretty well. I want to make a point here. When I talk about the fight that Jasper has, I'm not saying that we do not have players out there showing individual fight. I'm looking more for a team unity type fight. And they didn't have it last week. It did not show up again tonight. let's go back to the chalkboard. Let's see if we can straighten it up. In high school football, everybody makes the playoffs. So, maybe we take a playbook out of Memorial, where Memorial always kind of gets beat up a little bit at the beginning of the season.
Absolutely.
But boy, you get them down into the playoffs, they're to be handled. Well, you never know. Maybe we get Reitz at home and things turn out a little bit different. But Reitz not only had superior talent on the skilled positions tonight, Jasper's handled them the last, I'm thinking 3 out of 4 times that they played. So, and the last 2 games, Reitz was hungry for a win against Jasper, and tonight they got it in convincing fashion.
Very convincing fashion by the score of 41-14 here at the Reitz Bowl. So the Wildcats will, like I said, be back on the road next week and trying to make some improvements as they will take on a less than formidable athletic ball club or team against the Bossy Bulldogs next week, Bob.
Yeah, the one note that has usually came up, because we've, even back when they invented electricity, back when I played, and we went up against Bossy. Bossy has shown through history not to be a disciplined team, but with Jasper so far in this early season has shown not to be a disciplined team. So who knows? It may be which one makes the fewest mistakes next week. I really hope that Coach Lewis can open up his closet and find that magic potion and get some guys to turn around. I'm hoping these guys like Dawkins and some of these younger guys will look up at the older guys and say, you know what, if you don't want it, I'll take it. And then we just kind of progress from there.
So that about wraps it up here from the Reitz Bowl here in the west side of the Pocket City here in Evansville tonight. The Panthers take the Cats down by the score of 41-14. Cats fall to 1-2 on the season. They will, again, as mentioned numerous times, we'll be back down here in Evansville next week. Take the ball on the Bossy Bulldogs at Enlow Field. That game will start at 7:30 Du Bois County time. Now, of course, Reitz will be on the road next week up on the north side of Vandenberg County to take on the North Huskies at Bunchard Stadium.
Kerry, that's one thing to where when you talk about Reitz being on there, when we got in the SIAC, when we go on the road, we're an hour.
Yep.
These guys are going 5 miles, 4 miles, 6 miles. Now, it plays into their benefit, but, let's just see kind of what happens.
All right. Well, once again, we will wrap things up. Final score, Jasper 41. Reitz 41. We wish it was that way.
Yeah.
Reitz 41, Jasper 14 is our final score here at the Reitz Bowl. For Bob Welp and Jeremy Marcos, I'm Kerry Schneider, wishing you a pleasant good evening from Evansville, Indiana.